Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing out there? Hope everybody is having a good start to their week, enjoying a little bit nicer weather. Although I guess yesterday was a little crazy with the wind and the thunderstorms. But hope everybody is weathering the COVID-19 storm and is doing what they can to continue moving forward. And today, just wanted to take a quick moment since I know all of us are again at home, virtual workforce. We're on our computers maybe more than before. We're using tools like Zoom, StreamYard, WebEx, GoToMeeting, which can be what they call browser based. So you're using a browser. And just want to talk about which browser is the best. Everyone, my name is Scott Raba. I'm with MindSpout, and we're going to talk today about what web browser is the best. Now, first caveat is please understand there are numerous browsers out there. We could spend a couple hours talking on just the sheer number of browsers, web browsers that are out there. So, for the purposes of this discussion, I want to talk about just mainly the big four: your Google Chrome, your Mozilla Firefox, your Microsoft Edge, the newest variant to Internet Explorer, and then Safari, which is Apple based. And like I said, I know there are plenty more of other browsers that we can talk about. We'll save that for another discussion. And a lot of different opinions on browsers, and for as many browsers as there are, there's probably people that would say use this one or use that one. But let's talk about first just the performance of a browser. And Chrome, by default, even despite the advances in computing power, Chrome tends to be one of the more resource-heavy browsers, and there's a reason for that. It's how they bake in their security, but it tends to be the most burdensome when it comes to your browsers. On the other end of the spectrum is Firefox. Firefox tends to be the most efficient and lightest weight, and right in between is Edge. And on Apple's Safari absolutely works very well, but again, Chrome is resource heavy. Firefox works. Edge, don't even think about it with an Apple product. Security, which should be on the forefront of everybody's mind, especially with everything that's going on and working from home. So, how do these stack up security wise? Well, Google Chrome has always been kind of out front with its security features. And again, that's why it makes it somewhat resource heavy, but it definitely leads the way when it comes to security. And what's interesting is that Microsoft Edge is now actually using the same open source foundation that Chrome uses. So Edge will probably get better at its security. It's not quite there, but you are seeing Firefox really pick up the slack. They've come along very well on the security side, and as you'll see a little bit later on the next one, we talk about privacy. They've actually enhanced their privacy settings a lot. So speaking of privacy, Chrome tends to be the worst offender here for one reason or another. And there are certainly browser extensions you can use to kind of give you a little bit more privacy in your browsing, but it's the biggest search engine by far. It they gather hordes of data, so it tends doesn't do well when it comes to privacy. That's where Firefox has really kind of jumped out in front. They do a lot better with reporting the number of attempts, tracking attempts that have been blocked, and how well they're doing. So they've definitely done good. And Safari and Edge, again, kind of in the middle. They're not great, but they're not horrible. What about compatibility? Well, as you would expect with Chrome, I was reading, as actually this paper right here, it said that 58% of US desktops in March were required to, or if they needed to have Chrome on there because of requirements by school or business. And Chrome just tends to be compatible with everything. There's very few instances where it's not compatible with something. Firefox is definitely close behind it. Edge works, and again, they're working off now the same open source foundation as Chrome, so they'll probably be even better. And Safari Not as much. Safari being an Apple, more Apple-based product, tend to run into problems that you would not have with Chrome or Firefox. So what about synchronization? So if you want to synchronize things across devices or whatever, and it depends. Some people don't want to sync your browsing history or your bookmarks or your passwords, which shouldn't be stored in your browser. But which ones synchronize? Well, Google obviously does great. You have sign in with your Google account into the Google Chrome instance, and it'll sync everything across. So if I were to go to my laptop and log in to Google Chrome with a Google account, I would see my browsing history. I would see uh, my bookmarks would all be there. Everything. Same thing with Firefox, Safari. Again, Apple. I can use iCloud, and all of that would sync up well. Edge is doing the same thing, but Google again still leads the pack when it comes to very good synchronization. So again, I said at the beginning, there's a number of other browsers. There's even browsers that are even more secure. I mean, you can start talking Opera, Chromium, Vivaldi, Tor, Avast, uh, Komodo, Epic. There's just tons and tons and tons. And it's like I said, I focus on the main four because that's what most people are using. And so, what's what's the answer? What is the best browser? Well, I hate to tell you, but it's really a multiple choice option. And I personally am a big fan of Chrome and Firefox. They tend to be 1, 2 pretty much all the time when it comes to testing and security and privacy. I personally, I think Edge is okay. It's just not great. And in fact, the majority of people don't use Edge. They're just not very fond of it. Safari is great on Apple product. It just mainly start running into compatibility issues. So again, it's a multiple choice option, and I'm sure you could ask a dozen different cybersecurity people, a dozen different people in the IT world or any other industry, and they'd probably all give you different answers for different reasons. So it's purely up to you and what works for you. I think one of the key things to remember is that these browsers are pushing down updates on a regular basis as things are being identified, security vulnerabilities or holes. So it's just like your regular computer and your software. Make sure you're installing those updates. Make sure that you're running the most current version of the browser to best protect you, and be very careful about the extensions and add-ons you use, because sometimes those are like plugins to a website. They can be very vulnerable, and they may even be grabbing data as well. So whatever you use, make sure it's updated. Make sure if you use any add-ons in those browsers or any extensions in those browsers that they are also updated or they're reputable. And again, it's just, if you have any questions, would love to talk to you more about this. Like I said, we could talk for hours about browsers and which one's the best. And if anybody's interested, I will put in the comments a link. I'm doing a free webinar tomorrow where I'm going to talk about some other ways that you can help keep your business and yourself safe during these COVID-19 times when we're all doing a lot of virtual work. And I appreciate everybody for taking the time to watch. Hopefully, I gave you some good information. And above all else, I hope everybody stays safe. Enjoy the rest of your week. And I look forward to seeing everybody on Thursday when I come to you live again. Have a great day.